Hey, how are you? Thanks for joining me and a very happy new year. This is my first recording of 2026 and it's the 30th of January. So I'm getting one in for January and then my plan is to try and do a couple each month, at least two each month, if not one every week, of for YouTube. And because this is a platform I really want to build on, because to me it's not as much it's not entertaining like the other social media platforms. This is education, and that's what I'm all about. So, my big thing obviously this year is yes, my book. I'm just so proud of it. It's come together beautifully. It feels beautiful, and I think hopefully you'll like it. I'm just so pleased the way it's all come together. So, I'm just going to unashamedly have a little chat about that today, why I wrote it, what it's about, why I think you love it, and why I think it's so important. Okay. Um, and it's actually not about me, it's about you. It's about what I hope the reader will get out of it and why I think it's so important in this day and age. So, the book is called The Gift of Self-Worth. And what we want to do is bolster everybody's self-worth. Because for most people I see, in fact, for everybody I see, and even people who don't come to see me, it's their self-worth that is lacking, deep core self-acceptance, self-love, self-esteem, and self-worth. And why do we not have good self-worth? Well, because we feel like we're not good enough. Like, why on earth do we feel not good enough? The book explains why. It's all in here. From my, how many years? Almost 30 years of experience of working with clients and absolutely my own personal journey, because we all teach what we most need to learn. And it was me looking for solutions for myself and my abysmal self-worth that I started this whole journey in 1999. So it's 26 years. So getting close to 30 years. It feels like 30 years. But anyway, we won't go there. And it's about our story, the story we tell ourselves about why we don't feel good enough. And in the book, I explain that it's all about our self-perception. So we want to look at where did that perception come from? So the first part of the book explains the origin of our not good enough story and where it starts, why it starts, and it offers you a whole new way to look at yourself and to look at and interpret your story, because there's a misperception in your story. And that's what the first part of the book is all about. Just very briefly, there's three parts. The second part, I go into all of your mind, your body, and your soul, and the emotions. So the emotions are the wave of energy between the mind, the body, and the soul. So we're looking at your anatomy, the hierarchy and the structure of the emotions. It's looking at the soul. What is the soul all about? It's this whole new frontier, I call it. And it's looking at how they're all supposed to work together in order to create the whole you, because we do holistic therapy. And it's not about looking at the individual problems that we've got, whether it's mental health, whether it's back pain, whether it's hormone issues. That's the old way. I believe we're shifting, I think, into a whole new paradigm. Well, I'd like to think that we are gradually shifting into a whole new paradigm of seeing each human being as a whole person, your story included, your mind, your body, and your soul, and how you feel about all of it. It all influences every other aspect of it. So I wrote down here, I made some notes because I tend to go off in tangent. So to keep myself, oh, and I didn't do part three. So part three of the book is really about going to work. So it gives you lots of tools for the mind, tools for the body, and tools for the soul and the emotion. And I've even given you a whole way of clearing negative emotion so that you can move that energy. Sorry about that. so that you can move that energy and do lots of healing yourself, because there is so much that you can do for yourself. So I really like to sort of offer something for all the budgets, if you like. I am a bit money conscious because not everybody can afford to come and see me. So I wanted to create something that was available to everybody and anybody at just the cost of the book. So, and of course, your time, because you got to do the work. Okay. So, what I wanted to talk about today, is apart from all of that, is coming back to my new tagline, and I'm gradually putting it into my new logo. And I was playing around with the tagline of it's through wholeness through healing, so that we get to become whole, as I said, mind, body, and soul, through the healing of each of those aspects. Or you could put it the other way around, healing through wholeness. Because as we heal each part of us, we become whole. And by healing the individual parts, we become whole. But by working with the whole, we heal the individual parts. So it's a bit like the chicken and the egg, that you can't have one without the other. Because I believe you cannot heal what you don't love. If there's a situation, an event, a person in your life, often in your past, someone that's wronged you or hurt you, if there's a relationship that has not gone well, or you have difficulty in relationships or finding loving relationships, if there was a job or any aspect of your work that you don't love, see, all of this negative patterning will show up in all these areas. It could be your money, your wealth, because your self-worth relates to your relationship with money and wealth and value. Okay. And of course, that also relates to your health and your body, your relationship with yourself as a body, the body that you dwell in. Okay. So if you've got a negative vibration, a negative frequency, negative beliefs, or perceptions about any of those things, and of course you are at the core of each of those because it's your relationship to them, then if that's in a negative state, then that isn't going to heal. Now, you can go to the doctor and get some pills and treat the symptoms of the disorder or disease, but you're only ever treating the symptoms. You're not truly getting to the core of it, which is why the medical system, and we need the medical system, I'm not knocking it. I would love for it to go more into the deeper healing. And to me, it's always looking at the why. Why is this happening? Why am I getting these pains? Why is my back sore? Why are my muscles weak? Why am I getting headaches? Why am I not sleeping? Because everything has a purpose. And we go into all of that in the book. Okay. And it's there to communicate with you. I actually looked up this word because one of the things that I absolutely love is somatic therapy. And kinesiology is a form of somatic therapy. So what is the soma? So the soma is the aspect of the body. So it comes from a Greek word. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the dad in that would just love this. So it comes from the Greek word and the Greek word meant of the body. And then over time, I don't know how this changed, but I love this idea. So it eventually evolved into the living body in its wholeness. So again, that word wholeness, to be whole, to feel whole, and to be in harmony and in alignment with your mind, your body, and your soul, because that is the living body, the living, breathing, functioning, growing, expanding body that is you. Okay. So if we're whole, if we're in a negative state, so what I'm talking about with a negative state, and again, this is in the book, in the emotional section, you see here right in the middle at 250, between 200 and 250 logarithms, this goes into a positive state. So in this state, we have words like we go from neutrality into willingness, acceptance. It's back to front here, but I'm telling you what they are. There's reason, there's love, there's joy, peace, right? So when we're in these positive expressions, then we are naturally healing. But if we are in negative states, what's that one? Pride, having too much pride in ourselves, not asking for help, anger, denial, no desire, fear, guilt, apathy, that's grief, apathy, guilt, and shame. Shame's at the bottom of the ladder. So if we're in any of those negative emotions, and the most common for most people will be anger, fear, very common, grief, but deep inside of us, if we're feeling not good enough, if we're judging ourselves, we're often sitting in shame. And then we go into despair. So I think there's even a lower one. But so you're going to know that because you'll recognize it in yourself where you're beating yourself up, where you're judging yourself, where you're giving yourself a hard time, where you feel you are not good enough, right? So if you're trying to prove yourself, if you're working too hard, if you're giving too much, then that is an excess of you giving out your energy, trying, proving, efforting, giving 110%. I remember when I used to in the corporate world, they went, well, okay, we need 110% in everything. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. How can you give 110% of yourself? It's ridiculous. Like there only is 100%. If you're going to give 110%, then you are completely putting yourself into a deficit. Why would you put yourself into a deficit of your own energy? Like nowadays, to me, and I've been out of the corporate world for those 25 years, it just doesn't make it like it just really doesn't make sense. I go, what? What? You know what I mean? WTF, right? So we want to come back into harmony with who we are. We want to look at our story and we want to find out where did it all go wrong? Where did I suddenly decide that I was not good enough? Good enough for who? And again, I explain all of that in the book. We go into through the model of compassion. It's a little model I've created. It's very simple, and anybody I think can identify with it, and it'll help you to see the root cause, I believe, of where a lot of that came from. Now, it's not the whole answer, because some of the stuff I didn't include in the book, because the book would have gone on forever, is like ancestral stuff, genetic patterns, past life stuff, if you're into that. I touch on it a little bit here and there in the book, but I didn't go into it as much as I could because I just didn't want to completely overwhelm everybody that chose to read it. So that's kind of what the book's all about. I really want to help people, anybody who chooses to read this book, pick it up, to identify your story, and then learn to let go of it because there's a whole new future waiting for us. So that was kind of the main notes I made. And then I thought, right, are there any messages, as I like to do? And of course, a beautiful card shows up. And it's interesting, these come from the Moon Goddess cards. And I'm getting so many moon cards coming up for people at the moment. And it's making me wonder if this full moon coming up in the next few days, it's because I said I'm recording this on the 30th. I'll hopefully put it out maybe today or tomorrow. We're moving into the full moon. And we're moving into Aquarius. Astrologically, there is a lot going on. Everybody needs to be prepared and be grounded. And I'll probably do another video on this in the next few days because it's really stirring everybody's stuff up. Okay. So this little card, gorgeous card, to back up, if you like, to support why you want to read this book, why you want to understand the root cause of your feelings of self-doubt and you're not good enough, so that you can step into your confidence. So this is summer spirit and it's about growth. And straight away, I could see this isn't just about getting rid of your physical pain or your mental stresses or your misperception about who you were and who you could be. This is about growth, motivation, enthusiasm, and abundance, because this is what we're moving into. And you can't go forward with motivation and enthusiasm without some confidence. And you can't have confidence without some self-worth. Okay. All interlinked and all comes together. So I'm just going to read a bit of basking in the sun's radiant glow and lighting up her path. Look at the beautiful yellow colors. And yellow relates to the Altera color of joy. So as the rays of sunlight flow down, they are charging the earth and inspiring the growth phase of nature, because this is about summer. It's the summer spirit of summer, as we are in here in the Southern Hemisphere. The flowers have bloomed, the bees are busy, and the birds are singing you into this time of expansive growth. This card calls in the abundant time of possibilities for you. Right. Now, the guidance here is look closer at what you want. Get clear on your desires. Follow your joy. Again, a little plug of the yellow joy. Get your joy. Feel the way your body fills up with bubbles and aliveness when you choose what you want. Follow the path with a new sense of possibilities. This is a time of immense growth and expansion in one or more areas of your life. Trust that you are on the right path and it is supporting you to grow into the upgraded version of your life. Your dreams are whispering to you, calling to you, invoking you to move toward them in a new sense of clarity, passion, and flirty fun. Fire up, baby. Get motivated, dance, and move towards what is calling to your heart. You deserve that. The summer spirit is the creatrix. Be like her and weave in your passions with a sensual grace and consistent flow, creating beauty in your life. So, learning to dance with joy, getting motivated. So, without going into all the astrology, a lot of you will probably know we are moving with the Chinese New Year coming up in the next week or two. We're moving into the fire horse. So think of a horse galloping along. There's speed, there's enthusiasm, there's power. And we have just moved out of the wood snake. So the wood's got to do with liver and gallbladder energy, but it's the wood of the trees. And when the trees are finished, they fall into the ground and they rot and they go back into the earth. But the wood snake, the snake sheds its skin. So between last year's energy and the energy that's coming up in the next few weeks, we're looking at shedding the skin. If you have not shed your old baggage, your old story, then it's going to be difficult for you to step into the new version of you, the new snake, and to take off with the motivation and the speed and the enthusiasm of the powerful horse, right? It's funny, I've just thought about, with cars and engines, they look at the horsepower. This is power. And you're going to see lots of power misused, the way energy should not be used. But for you, you want to look at your power. And as it says here, if you're going to move forward, you have to know what you want. What are you choosing to bring in this year? And I have a chapter in the book called The Difference Between Needing, Wanting, and Choosing. And that's going to be really important for you to know that you have what you need and that you can choose what you want. But if you go and read that chapter, it'll help you to clarify that. Because if you don't know what you want, you are going to be thrown all over the place like a leaf falling in the wind. You have to have the clarity of purpose. What are you going to create and what are you going to manifest for yourself this year? You've got to have absolute clarity of purpose. And you need to bring in your soul to know what your purpose is. Again, look at the soul connection in the book. All of it's explained. There's lots of tools and techniques in this book that's going to help you and guide you through all this process. So get your hands on the book. I'm working on a nice, pretty landing page, but if I don't get it in the next day or two, I'll just put up a product page on my website, and you'll be able to get your hands on it. There's going to be a couple of options, and I'll probably do another little short video to explain that, because I think in order to bring the book alive, I want to do a program and to work with people as you go through the book and answer questions and give you further guidance and support. Anyway, that's my start for the year. I hope it's been helpful. My advice is number one, get the book, of course, and number two, get clear on what you're bringing in this year and who you are choosing to be. So, God bless for now, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.